From the great halls of their house, there are assembled three who hope to one day be the world's greatest driving heroes. Created from the cosmic legends of the universe comes our team captain, the Vision, Bill Fisher. Their soon-to-be Wonder Woman, Vicky Fisher. Our Captain Marvel and head flight trainee, Jennifer Skripchuk. And our Batman, the master of tools, gadgets, and all things mechanical, our mild-mannered soon-to-be billionaire, Alan Danvers. Their mission, to fight injustice, share what is right and wrong, to get you out of your house and come out racing with them, and serve all mankind. They are the Garage Heroes in Training Team.
Captain's Log Supplemental.
So, Miss Vicky.
Yes, sir.
Do you remember when we were watching those WRL events and some of those Grid Life events where you used to see the in-car video and it had like the cameras seeing front and back, but it also could see all the telemetry and everything that was going on?
Mm-hmm.
You know, most of the ones that we liked were taken by the Sentinel system. Remember James came on our podcast earlier?
Right.
You know, we have no excuse since he lent us one for trial and demonstration purposes. We should actually probably put that in one of our cars. Maybe two.
I really think we should.
I think we should.
I know.
Because then we'd look like the immature endurance racing team that we are. Oh, wait, I mispronounced that, didn't I? Sorry, my bad. We could
So what does the
have,
Sentinel system do?
we could have 3 cameras with picture-in-picture. We could have, if we ever get the AIM system to work, open invitation to anybody from AIM to come on and give us a little bit of love. We need some help. And then we could have all our telemetry on there. And then we can have it streamed live into the paddock or around the world to our millions of fans. We're apparently very popular in Kenya right now. Don't know why, but that's fine. And it can integrate all the available race statistics from like Race Hero and everything. So we could actually see how we're doing on video. We wouldn't even have to carry around our phone anymore. Live.
I love it.
Dominating with Dawson.
Ben Dawson. We've talked about this, but I want to talk about it again.
Let's dominate it.
All right, very well. I believe this is Miss Vicky's favorite topic that we've ever talked about. And if her first discussion point on this says, it doesn't begin with, I know we've talked about this in an earlier episode, but whatever, it's fine.
Yeah,
Let's do it.
I'll stop that.
I know. Let's talk about weight management in terms of the race car, not in terms of my scale.
Well, I know we've talked about this in a previous episode.
Yes, we have. Yes, we have. Miss Vicky, you sounded just like Ben there. Nice.
Almost, yeah.
So,
yeah, weight management, transfer of weight, all that kind of stuff.
mhm.
Yeah.
Which brings us to Vicky's favorite topic, which I'm still pretty sure she's not fully comfortable with, which is the friction circle. So the reason I wanted to bring this one to the table again, and we're probably going to do friction circle at least one more time, was I was listening to the Lizard Brain podcast, and one of the hosts there is DJ Alessandrini, and the other is Tom O'Gorman.
Okay.
They were talking about how on the track you want to keep the weight on the outside of the car, which is kind of a different way of talking about a friction circle. And that management of the weight was what was able to, in their minds, allow them, and I'm probably speaking this poorly, but allow them to maximize their performance and minimize their time on the track. And it was just a different way of thinking about it. And I thought maybe we could talk about it a little bit.
Yeah, the way you're saying that makes sense to me. I mean, you want to, if you're going through a turn, you want to throw all your weight to the outside, to the outside, because that's the side that's going to get you rotated around. You want to hike up the inside and have the least weight on the inside, so the car will whip around on you. And part of that is, effectively throwing the chassis around. It has to do with your timing, has to do with your timing of your inputs, has to do with what you're wishing for. Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm a big believer in visualizing what I'm trying to get the car to do. Like I'm trying to get this thing to twist this way or bounce this way. You know what I mean? Like, at least for me, sort of visualizing the verb that goes along with what I'm hoping the car will do and picturing it in my head helps. But yeah, that makes sense. You want the car riding on the outside. So if you're going through a right turn, you want the weight to be just pounding on the left side.
Mhm.
This that rings true. For me, from a lot of my oval track setup days too, or you're trying to always think about going through the turn with if you're going through a left turn like you always are on the oval track, you're trying to really load the right side up way on the right, you want the left side to be kind of as light and interfering the least as possible as you're working around the left turn. But you're making the left turn, you want the left or the inside side sort of hiked up, not bothering anything, while the right side does all the work and gets you turned around. I mean, even to the extreme with oval vehicles like my cart, I think I ran 10-inch wide tires on the right and maybe 8.5 in the front on the left and an 8 on the left rear. Like you wanted that left rear tire doing the least amount of stuff because it was the one that it's the one that kind of bind you up the most. So yes, sounds good to me.
Just hold the card up for me. That's all I need you to do.
I just need somebody to pull up on the inside while I'm going around the corner. That'd be great.
Mm-hmm. Does that make any sense to you, Miss Vicky?
Nope.
I figured it didn't.
No, it's. I think that I think I'm just need more of like a visual.
All right, I got one.
Okay.
Okay. There's a guy at NASA Great Lakes that is an instructor with me. And every time he'll go and hold a half-filled soda bottle up horizontal.
Yes.
And when he's holding it horizontal, he'll be like, okay, when I hit the brakes, what happens to the water?
Right.
It goes flipping forward, right?
Correct.
Okay. So that means you're moving the weight forward.
Right.
Same thing when you hit the gas. In some cars, they accelerate, not ours, but I've heard about these cars that go forward. The water sloshes back, or the soda sloshes back, right?
Right.
It's the same thing when you're going through a turn, in that most of the water is going to slosh to the left. But if you're doing what Tomo refers to as good braking, because he hates the word trail braking, you're also going to be on the brakes. So it's going to be sloshing forward just a little bit. So you're keeping the weight on the outside. Because if the weight's in the middle, you're not doing anything, right?
Okay. All right.
So, and then once you've hit your apex point or your minimum speed point, then you're still turning. The water's still sloshing to the outside, but you're going to be accelerating. So it's sloshing to the outside and back. So what you want to do is minimize the amount of time that the water is just sitting there still. Because even if you're going around a long sweeping carousel, like the one that you're probably most familiar with, Vicky, is the what's the one on
Jersey?
No, you could do Jersey. All right, the octopus in Jersey, or the light bulb and lightning, either one. Even if you're doing that, you're still maintaining speed. Like you're holding your speed. Let's assume you hold your speed constant. You're still sloshing to the outside. So you want to keep the weight working for you, which the weight gives you a little bit of grip and gives you the ability to go around a little quicker. And the amount of time that the weight's in the dead center of the car, like you're not either accelerating, decelerating, or turning, should be at or near zero.
I got something that might help you.
That I understand. Like, I understand that part. I don't understand how to read the friction circle. Okay. Like, I'm looking at the circle and there's squigglies all over the place. And they're like, oh, here's the friction circle. I don't know. I don't even know what I'm looking at.
Well, I dominate plenty, and I also don't grasp the friction circle, so don't sweat that. But let me go back and talk real quick about something we kind of glossed over that I think might help you grasp what we're talking about with the concept of going through a turn and having or going through the turn with the preference for having all your weight on the outside side of the vehicle while you're making a turn. And that is when Bill was talking about the water bottle, when we talk about when we're accelerating, the weight goes to the rear, right? Like it kind of tips back. And if you have a rear wheel drive car, that's great because you're also trying to accelerate and get that weight over the rear wheel so they'll hold instead of spinning. So you have better traction leaving. And then on just about any car, the front wheels are going to be doing most of the work when you're braking. So it doesn't matter whether it's front wheel drive or rear wheel drive. And when we brake, it slams the weight of the vehicle back down the nose, which is what we want because that weight that goes onto the nose of the vehicle helps us aids in our braking. Friction helps us slow the car down. So
and turning.
The fact and in turning. So with the fact that we know having the weight on the ass end helps us accelerate, having the weight on the nose helps us brake. The other thing we're trying to do is turn. So having all that weight on the outside, loading up on the outside tire, has the same effect as having it on the front while we're trying to accelerate, or having it on the rear, or sorry, having it on the front while we're trying to brake, or having the weight shifted to the rear when we're trying to accelerate. You're just trying to maximize where the weight is for what you're asking the car to do, whether it's brake, accelerate, or hold the maximum grip through a turn so that you can go as fast as possible. Does that make any more sense?
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. Yeah. That stuff I understood. Like I said,
that's if you grasp that, you grasp the friction circle, whether you can draw it or reproduce it or not. Which I cannot. I'm not a friction circle guy myself.
Yeah.
So the friction circles that I'm familiar with, they take a data point every, let's say, second, half a second, doesn't matter, and it gives you a dot for which way the G forces are, which is a different way of saying the weight. So when you look at it, if you're just looking at it statically, there's just a whole bunch of dots on a graph, an XY graph. You want to see them as far out as possible with as few in the middle as possible.
Okay.
Now, if you want to take this another layer, which we're not going to go through, but if you're in the Apex Pro app, you can actually watch yourself go around the track, and it'll light up the dots as you're going around the track, and you can see on the track where you are, and you can see where the dot is. Now, if you're on the track and you see that your dot is in the middle, you got to ask yourself why. Now, sometimes it could be traffic, but there's going to be very few reasons why you should be in the middle. Like if you're just sitting, I'm not accelerating, I'm not decelerating, I'm not turning. The question I have is why? Now, is it another car? Is it a yellow flag? Is it, something? But there should be a why. And you want to, the better the driver, the more they're able to make that circle bigger, so they can get more G's forward, backwards, and sideways.
And if I remember right, the circle itself, the line of the circle represents the edge of your vehicle's grip. So you want to be, if you're putting data points onto your friction circle, you want them to be as close to the circle as possible. Or if you're Ben Delson, you want them to all be right outside the circle.
just a little bit. So you want as big a circle as possible, and you want it to be as round as possible because you want to be smooth. But you're always going to have the issue with most of the cars that we drive, especially the cars that we drive, is you can brake a lot more G's than you can accelerate. So it's not really a circle; it looks like a squashed egg. But still, you want to make it as big as possible. And anything beyond that, I don't think you're really ready for. Not that you couldn't understand it, but you're not exactly the data girl just yet. So
no.
So I'm never going to be the data girl. Just so everybody knows. If anybody's waiting on this guy to turn into the data girl or boy, it ain't gonna happen.
Nope. So we may have gotten a little bit of traction in the friction circle finally.
Hey, yeah.
See what I did there?
I'm into it.
Traction.
Yeah.
Friction
nice.
circle. That's why I get paid to the dad joke bucks. Yeah, pretty much. All right. Anybody else got any explanations for a friction circle? Send them in.
Yeah, tell us more about it. We love revisiting this topic. It's it's a classic.
It is.
It's a oldie but goodie. It's a long time listener, first time caller. Just kidding. We've done it many times before.
Yeah. I think that one's probably like 5 or 6 times so far.
It's a lot. It's a big topic.
It is. I do.
It's the nut of what we're doing, really.
I remember when we had a guest on, and it was Nick Romano from Fast Sideways. And he comes on and he's like, okay, we started to do the Fast and Furious Storytime questions. Just as a joke with him. He's like, okay, hold on. We got to talk about rotation because you guys talk about it all the time and you still don't say it right. So and he answered it for us, and we haven't had to do it since then. So if you want to be a guest who comes on and explains what a friction circle is,
yes,
we can take those. That's fine.
School us.
Exactly. Because the one thing that I've noticed is some of these concepts, they're kind of, and Vicky hates jargon, but racing's filled with it. Sometimes you just need to hear it said the right way and it clicks, and then you're good.
Yes.
And we may or may not have said it the right way yet. We never know. One never knows. And
I've also gotten the sense that sometimes people like keeping some of these jargon things a little bit obscure, and there's a little bit of gatekeeping that goes on with sort of stuff. So it's good to talk about it, and it's good to talk about it in a few different ways so people can hopefully grasp it better.
Indeed. All right. Thanks, Ben.
Thanks for having me.